on live on YouTube.
We're on live now? Okay,
Yep.
so I'm not going to give out the password then.
Write it down,
All
'cause
right.
I gotta remember it over here now.
How many viewers do you usually get?
Millions.
Oh, wonderful.
This is Alice in the Chips and Salsa show. That's Alice playing with her phone,
Hi.
and Miranda just waving. And what was your name?
Alton.
Alton Zhang.
Alton.
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 Not Elton.
Like
A-L-T-O-N.
Although my mother was a big fan of Elton John, so
So why were you named Alton?
because she was
Because
a
of
big
that?
fan of Elton
But
John.
she didn't want to be Elton. It's Alton. Oh, is that right?
Actually, yeah.
Cool.
If you look at my name, you're supposed to pronounce it like Alton Jang, so it's Elton John. It's a play on words.
Oh, I just got it.
Young.
Very nice. Very nice. That's kind of a cool thing.
That
to-
is very
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I was a huge Elton John fan. Huge. Back when, he started getting popular. I've got some of his very first albums.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
He had his farewell tour a couple of months ago, and I'm so sad I missed out on it.
I have never seen him in concert. Never have. I tried one time here in Phoenix. He was going to play, and this is how long ago that was. I was trying to get tickets. You had to fax them in or something.
Let's
Yeah.
How many minutes do we have?
We have 11 minutes.
Okay, we're just gonna go.
Are you want to
straight
use
in.
my phone or your phone?
Well, mine's is still searching, I guess.
Okay, I'm going to go to my phone then. Can use my phone. That's really cool about your name. Do you like Elton John?
I mean, up until recently, I hadn't listened to any of his works, but Crocodile Rock by Elton John is definitely one of my favorites.
What about earlier than that? Like very vintage Elton John? Tumbleweed Connection? Or, no, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No.
Your mom will.
Yeah.
Ask your mom, or I don't know, maybe your mom won't, because your mom's.
Okay,
Maybe
we're
she
on
just knows the
YouTube
lady
live
version.
right now. Right now,
What's your bracelet say?
it's not asking me. Dang it.
It's my MIA bracelet. You know what that is?
No, I just saw. Okay.
So when I was in 7th grade, a long time ago, this was the thing. You know what? Mine's plugging along too, George.
It's not letting me.
Maybe it's a bad connection.
Let's turn it off and turn it back on.
Okay, let's.
But your guys are on, right? Your phones are working?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't tried to get on the internet.
Mine is poking, so I'm going to turn it off, turn it back on.
Yours did what?
Mine was going too slow, so
Oh.
I turned it off and turned it back on.
Oh, maybe I should do that to mine too.
Sometimes that helps. I don't know.
Well, people, we're on YouTube. This is the Chips and Salsa show. Today's Thursday, April the 11th, and 2019.
411, that's right, Miranda. 411.
411.
Get your 411 right here.
Yep. I came to get the
Nice.
411.
It's going to be a really good show. We haven't gone on Facebook yet, but we're early on YouTube. We're here every Thursday about 7 o'clock about this time. We've got some great guests. We have Miranda, who's going to tell us about the Tea Party event coming up here in Gilbert, which is in the Phoenix area, for those of you not familiar with Phoenix area. And that's on the 15th on tax day, so she's going to tell us all about that. Miranda, it's Myers is your last name, right?
Yes. Well, Meyer.
Meyer, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Meyer.
I'm not trying to
That's
add
my
an S
maiden
there. Okay. And what is your title with the...
Just spokesperson for teapartycommunity.org with
Okay,
Kevin Jackson.
awesome.
And we got a big event coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
Miranda's going to tell you.
Yeah,
Super exciting.
And
Very
then-
excited.
and we also have Elton John.
Elton.
It's
John.
not Elton John, but almost was. And he's with the TARS, Teenage. Tell me what it is again. Stand for?
It's the Teenage Republicans, and I'm the chairman for the Arizona State Chapter.
So stay tuned for a really big show.
So we should be coming on in about 8 minutes as soon as we configure all these gadgets because this is a gadget world.
Gadget.
And hey, if you're here early, send some waves for the chat. We like to see you.
Yeah.
That's give us a thumbs up.
I hope this works.
Yeah.
Is yours up? Because otherwise,
We just go into a regular.
You can see if
okay, let's try this again.
I see you and I have similar tastes.
No,
Same
look at
phone
that.
case.
Look at that.
Oh well.
George, I can't get it to work. I may just have to use my data. Or if yours is up, we can use yours. Last time we couldn't get his phone to work. Okay, I think it's connecting. Yes.
Okay.
Is yours working?
Carolyn Laft is watching.
Wow.
Carolyn left. How you doing? So we'll use your phone for Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's a cool little stand.
She says hi.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, Carolyn. When are you gonna come hang out with us? Keep asking you. So if you don't have us up on Facebook, then she's watching us on YouTube.
She says hi. I'm here. I am here. Well, we're
So
here
you do
too,
have us up.
Carolyn.
So you do have us up on Facebook. You're
Yeah.
live streaming now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Just you have to use my data, but it's okay. It's
All
all
right.
good.
Good deal.
It's for the greater good.
It's for the
So-
greater good.
So we're kind of starting the show a little bit early. It looks like, George.
Yes,
You
yes,
got
we
everything
are.
ready to go. I'm Alice Lara here with.
Don Jorge El Alacran. And I had a terrible dream about scorpions, so I'm gonna quit calling myself El Alacran. I had a dream that I had a scorpion inside of my stomach, and I was trying to get it out, and it was like that big, and I got the stinger, and after
Oh my gosh.
the stinger came through my skin. This is a gory,
George.
and we broke the stinger, and this pus started coming out of
You
it.
didn't hear about
And
this
then-
dream?
No, this
You
is
didn't
the
tell your
first.
dreams?
And then this black stuff started coming out, and the scorpion, I guess, was dead, but it was inside my stomach. So I'm not the alacran.
So you don't
no
want to
more.
be the scorpion.
I'm
king
having
anymore?
nightmares with the alacran.
Have you been thinking a lot about scorpions recently?
I don't know, but it was I woke up and I started feeling my stomach, see if I had a scorpion, and it was terrible nightmare. I'm gonna have to call Dr.
Maybe it means
Petrasso.
something.
Petrasso and see what that means.
Carl, if you're watching us there, Dr. Carl Petrasso, who does dream interpretation, tell us what
I
the
need
heck
help.
was he thinking about?
I need help. I'm having nightmares with scorpions in my stomach. It looked real. It was like
First, you need to
Did you-
do
did
it.
you
You need to do a dream journal. And
dream-
document it
yeah.
so they can research your patterns.
you are going nuts, Jorge. Hey,
It was a Democrats were inside.
I
and were
guess.
trying to get out, and
the
they're-
scorpion must have been a
And
Democrat.
just like the bugs that they are, slowly killing and eating away at us.
oh
inside out.
my!
Yeah, so I thought I'd share that with you.
It was America.
It was,
In your stomach.
America in my stomach, the
it was
Democrats.
socialism.
Yeah.
But I mean, that,
It
it
was
was so
socialism.
it was so gory that the like a cream
Sounds
type pus, and then all of a sudden
Okay,
the
I'm
black,
done.
and then the black pus came after that. Ugh.
Could you feel it? Like, did you hurt in the dream? Were you hurting?
You know what? I don't think I was hurting. I was just wanting to get that scorpion out of my stomach, and it was like it would look so real.
Did
The
anything else happen in the dream?
Well, I had like bumps on my stomach, and that's when I first looked down and I saw the scorpion. It looked like measles or something. Maybe it's the measles epidemic or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's crazy.
Have
I
you
don't
watched Aliens?
That's what it sounded like. to
Yeah.
me, how it comes out of the stomach.
Yeah.
It was gross.
You were
people.
thinking about illegal aliens, and
Illegal.
It was gross. So every time I say it, alacran is just
So you guys probably don't know, but the reason we call him Scorpion King, this started a long time ago, Alacran, because you got stung
Yeah, last year.
by a scorpion.
And my whole side was paralyzed. Well, not paralyzed, but numb the next day. And it took 3 days to go away. And ever since then, I was El Alacran.
So we call him Alacran, which is Spanish for scorpion, or the Scorpion King.
I'm wearing my shirt with the Pence and Trump because Pence is here in Tucson checking out the border. So I brought my hat, Make America Great Again, and my Pence shirt that I wore at the rally that was here. So anyway.
It's all set. We have a really great show we're going to get to in just a little bit. But before we get started, we just want to remind you, if you're watching us on Facebook, please share this post on your profile. And if you belong to any groups or pages, we would love that, because then the more people that see us. The main reason, if this is the first time you've tuned in, we exist because we're trying to bust the myth that because you're brown, we're Latinos.
Carolyn says you need a psychologist. My dad can help. If the scorpion, something I can't remember what it says, the scorpion was any other part of your body. No, it was just in my stomach. Right there in the middle of my stomach, Carolyn.
Is there a way
I could see the face and the tail going like that until he poked through the skin.
I'm sorry, I thought we were done with the scorpion.
No, Carolyn was asking me.
Is there a way to open up the stream on this computer so we can look at the comments in live?
Yeah, George is going to do that in a minute. That's why he has his
Spicy.
computer there.
Spicy.
So he'll
Just
be
like chips and salsa.
He'll be showing
do
us.
it on yours, no?
Oh, I thought you'd like to do it on that.
No, I haven't even gone online.
I'm gonna go share. Okay, we could do that. But as I was saying, the reason we have our show is because we try to bust the myth that just because you're brown doesn't mean you're automatically a Democrat. George and I are former Democrats, but we're not anymore.
I'm
we're
white.
Republicans.
I'm not brown.
And I heard a little bit of
Well,
this
this is
story
white,
here.
but that's not
It's quite
white.
impressive.
No, I'm. By the time this summer we get into the summer, I will turn totally brown.
So we got two Latinos, and I know that you're not a Latino, but you are of Asian extraction. Are you?
I am.
Ta-da.
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
Yeah. You're looking at me like doubting that. No.
No, like George, I am completely white.
You are completely white. Yeah, okay. So we got two white guys here. and
I'm Puerto Riqueño.
and
I'm
I
proud
I have a
of it.
mixed son, but
Yeah.
that counts.
That counts. Everybody can be Latino. That's okay. We have honorary Latinos. That's right. So anyway, that's really why we do this show, because we want to show that just because you are a Latino, there are a lot of Latinos. What's a movement? Lexit. So,
that's it.
Latinos that have left the Democrat Party. A very good friend of ours, Terry Mendoza, is heading up the Republican National Hispanic Assembly, the Arizona chapter, and she was just at our LD the other day. And we have those meetings, George. They're the last Tuesday of the month, right? And they're right here at the AZGOP, which, by the way, that's where we're broadcasting our show. Very much, a lot of thank yous go out to Arizona Republican State Party. And thank you, Chairman Dr. Kelly Ward. And also the executive director is Leslie White, and we use her office. So thank you, Leslie. We appreciate it. And we're here every Thursday at 7 p.m. So as I said, Chipsters, if you would share this post, that'd be great. And George's going to bring up the Facebook thing so he can watch and see what's going on. So feel free to comment. We don't have a phone line that you can call in, but you can always talk to us that way, and we'll keep track of your comments.
Chipsters?
Chipsters.
That is
yeah.
adorable.
Isn't
Honestly,
that adorable?
it is.
Isn't that adorable? And if you're like, kind of like if you're Hispanic or Latino, I'll call you a chipstero or a chipstera. You know, chipstera.
What about salsista?
Salsista.
Oh, that
Ooh.
would be interesting. Okay. A
What's up,
salsista.
chipsters and salsitas?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Clever. Good marketing ideas.
It's right here, George. Can
Thank you.
read
You
it
can
for
hire me for $0 an hour. You get the best ideas.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Absolutely. So I'm going to introduce our guests. We're going to talk about a Tea Party big event that's coming up first, and then we're going to go and talk to Alton Zhang is going to join us with the Teenage Republicans, and we're all going to talk about politics after that. So
fun.
please don't go away, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stories, and let's start out with Miranda Myers. Thank you for being
Yes.
here. We appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Yay.
Thank you for having me.
Great. And you're a spokesperson for?
Spokesperson for TPC. So I'll get into TPC a little bit.
Which stands for?
Tea Party Community. TeaPartyCommunity.org is the organization. It's co-founded by Kevin Jackson. And so I just wanted to give, where we're hosting an event Monday. It's called Patriotism Over Socialism. And before I get into the event and the different speakers that we're super excited that we're going to have, I just wanted to give a little bit a background on Kevin, if nobody knows who he is, and just get a little familiar with who he is and what he's trying to do in Arizona, because it's much bigger than the event. The event is more of our kickoff, if you will, of, you know, we're here and this is what we're wanting to do and bringing everybody together. So Kevin Jackson, he's a former Fox News contributor. He's host of the syndicated show, Kevin Jackson Radio Show. He has his own website, theblacksphere.net, where he does his opinions and commentary on the news items of the day. He came out with a documentary last summer called Bleeding Blue that went to different states and opened at different theaters across the nation. In Arizona, it actually won Best Film at the Chandler Film Festival, which was
Wow.
super exciting when that was here. Great film. Everybody should check it out.
Can you watch that on YouTube or something?
Well,
How would you watch it?
you can pre-order it, so it's it's already been aired in theaters, but you can go to bleedingbluethemovie.com and you can pre-order it and see previews and some interviews and things like that, and actually get your own copy. I'm not sure on the price, but you can go there to get more information about it.
Great.
But so he's got a lot of projects under his belt, and definitely a man of his word. He's super passionate, very unpolitically correct. He's a black conservative.
We love him just for that.
Yes. So he's also very involved in how to reach the black community, minority communities, and he's really talented at minority outreach, which is something he wants to do here in Arizona as well. So during the Obama administration, he was very involved in the Tea Party movement there in Missouri, in St. Louis, where he was residing. He's a local here now. He's been here for almost 2 years. But it was very interesting to hear about it. So he co-founded the TeaPartyCommunity.org back in Missouri during the Obama administration. And they had a system, a strategy, where they were actually able to build such a great membership, an infrastructure of people all collaborating and working together, to where the politicians went to them to ask them, hey, can we speak, at your guys' group? Can we introduce this piece of legislation? Will you support it? Will you vote on it? The politicians in their district, in their area, knew that in order to get things done, they had to have their Tea Party group on board. So essentially just that old school purpose of the power back into the hand of the people. And so he wants to bring that same strategy here in Arizona, since he's a local here now, and then tackle different issues and try to collaborate and bring everybody together to really change Arizona politics and our communities for the greater good.
So this is kind of, he's trying to restart the Tea Party movement
Yes.
that was really big, then we kind of got,
Yes.
So he's trying to reboot it.
Trying to reboot it, but it's not about leaving your group or your organizations or your LDs and joining TPC. It's about doing your everyday activities, whether you're an LD person, a chair, person, you have a radio show, you run an organization, you run a political group, whatever you do, but you're doing it now with the knowledge of we're building an infrastructure. So how can I do what I'm doing and also promote the issues that TPC is going to tackle, and we can do it together. So TPC, the organization, acts as a platform and infrastructure to bring tactics and ideas and issues and bring them to the different groups and the activists and the grassroots level to try to make America great again. And so a big way to do this, obviously, is membership. So getting everybody on board, spreading the word and making it as big as possible. We would like to establish ourselves in all 30 legislative districts in Arizona, where we're all working together towards the same common goal in one accord with one another. It also involves our own financing. So we don't take donations from the GOP or the DNC or lobbyists or big fancy donors who have an agenda. So it's purely functional by our money. So we've been promoting, asking people to donate $5 a month. And what's great about it is you're donating to the TPC organization, but we decide how the money is spent. We see what we have. We come together and decide what issue we want to tackle, and we as a group, as a collective, decide how to spend our own money. So you have the power and the control to make sure that your money is doing what you want it to do, which is so. There's 2 initiatives that are underway already. We want to tackle the misappropriation of funds for illegal immigration in Arizona, and we also want to tackle voter fraud and election integrity.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good ones.
Yes. So what we've done is, with meeting with different groups, George was at one of our meetings, we've established that there's a lot of different issues we want to tackle. Fees and taxes, illegal immigration, pro-life issues, border security. We want to work with politicians where we agree, and we want to work around them where we disagree. And that's sort of, a tactic of, counteracting the establishment, whether if it's in both parties or both politicians, no matter what the label is. So how we work with them where we want and then work around them is through projects, issues, and charities, building up a good rapport with our communities, minority outreach, really changing the hearts and the minds of the people, and then also with lawsuits. Kevin's actually backed legally by 2 different organizations that work specifically with education and illegal immigration, and so he's able to bring in legal counsel, and we can establish and do lawsuits on behalf of the taxpayer or the people, the plaintiffs, the people that are being wronged. So that's how we can sort of work around our elected officials where they're not representing us properly. So we currently have acquired that legal counsel, and he's counseling us. I'm gathering data and research, and he's counseling us on how we can tackle those 2 initiatives that I mentioned.
Does anyone get paid? Is this all volunteer?
So far it is all volunteer. Just all of us coming together and trying to collaborate. Once we do grow and we do establish an income, we definitely can have positions where people can get paid, but that's definitely in the future. It depends on how much we grow and how much people join membership and get on board.
Do you have any specific criteria for membership? Can anyone join, or
so
you don't have to be a Republican necessarily?
No, just a conservative, someone that agrees with the conservative, who wants to conserve the founding principles, whether you're libertarian.
I like the way you put that, because we don't use that word enough.
Yes. So 2 different meanings. There was the conservative Democrats who were conservative to their racist forefathers, were conservative Republicans or conservative Tea Party who are conservative to the founding fathers, the ideas.
Nicely done.
So same word, 2 different meanings. What was the question that you had? Oh, can anybody join? So yes.
Sorry, I took you off track.
No, that's fine. There are many different areas that we need to move the needle in this. So besides spreading the word in your family, your friends, your groups, whatever you're doing politically, besides donating the $5 a month, if that's all you want to do, that's completely fine. But we also are in need of having advisory boards, people that can sit around and do calls or sit around on the table and say, this is the feedback we're getting from our communities. These are the issues that we need to tackle. Here's their priority list. Let's tackle this one. And then we roll that out to communications team. How are we going to communicate it to the public? Is that through radio? Is that through social media, writing, articles, billboards, whatever you decide to do? And then there's the marketing, how to market it. Bumper stickers, T-shirts, hats, banners, however you want to do that. And, we need people who are solely committed to going to different groups and talking about our ideas and our initiatives and getting membership and outreach. So there's several different little committees where people can plug in and volunteer And I think that people will find that a lot of what they're doing already will overlap with what we're wanting to do. So lots of potential, very exciting. I think that if we can really roll this out, I personally believe that neighboring states will contact us. What are you doing and how are you doing it? Because we're such a big force, a grassroots change.
I'm gonna be a devil's advocate,
Sure.
because as I think George and I have been politically active for a long
yeah.
time, and you, I know you're a
Please.
teenager, but you have been. I've seen you out there
Yeah.
for quite. I've seen you at different events even within the last year. I mean, you.
Yes.
My point is, I think this is great. I'm great, but there are a lot of groups, so. If you talk to someone, I just can imagine say, well, why should I join up with you guys? I'm doing all this over here and doing all that. What advantage is it for me to be a part of you? And I know you did say in the beginning, we still want you to be active and do the different things that you do.
Mm-hmm.
But why would it be beneficial for someone like me to also join with your group and help you?
I'll answer with sort of a little mini story. So at one of our meetings with Kevin, when he was rolling out the strategy, the vision for what he wanted, there was a gentleman in the audience who has done a lot of research on voter fraud and election integrity. That is a subject that a lot of people are very concerned about. He's gone to the Attorney General, of Arizona. He's tried to contact, different lawyers and politicians, and was kind of frustrated with how it was going. And it was kind of moving along, but he wanted it to be moved along faster for 2020. And he wanted someone to pay, there are a lot of people that are ignoring it. It's not, in their...
It's not at the forefront.
It's not at the forefront.
You're right.
So Kevin asked him, he said, now, take your same scenario. If you had all of this research and data in your hand, and you had an infrastructure of 100,000 people, all networking and all connected all throughout Arizona, and you had, the legal backing, you had the membership, you had your own financing, and we were knocking on the Attorney General's door, do you think that they would or wouldn't pay attention to you? And he said, I think they would. So I don't know if that
That's a
kind
pretty
of
good answer.
So I don't know if that kind of answers your question, but it's,
It's power in numbers.
There's power in numbers. And so, I maybe people say, oh, well, that's been done before, or that's been tried before. I would just say we're going in the wrong direction as a country and as a state super fast. So if it's been done before, great, but why not try to do it again? Tweak a few things here and there. I think having Kevin be involved locally and bringing the legal backing of the organizations that he has is a huge advantage that we did not have before, to help move the needle in some of these things. Because judging from 2018, the last election, we're a purple state. We're no longer red. Yeah. We're in the middle. So how are we going to tip? How are we going to go? So I
think you have a really good point, especially because, even though there are a lot of groups out there, I always think we need as many as possible because there can't be too many. So if you're strong in this one area, do that. And so yours sounds more like it could be universal, which is not a bad idea. We need everything.
Yeah.
Actually.
And I'll reiterate, it's not about leaving your current activities and what you're doing. And I'll lead, I guess, with another example. For instance, I'm trying to build this, organization and bring everybody together. And it's not, Kevin also was trying to get across to the people. It's not like we're all looking to Kevin or we're all looking to me or we're all looking to Alice. We make it work. So what issue do we want to do? How do we want to spend the money? It's about we. It's not necessarily about looking to one man and one organization. He'll have some tools where he can share it and help it go along, but we make it work. That's why we have, the volunteer positions and the committees and the donating and all of the different stuff that you can be involved in and try to make it work. So for instance, I'm trying to build this because I'm so involved politically now in Arizona. I've with Kelly Ward now being the chairwoman, of the AZGOP, they've been really pushing for everybody to be a PC. Well, I was worried about being a PC. I didn't sign up right away because I didn't want my duties. I didn't want to overstretch myself. I work. I have a toddler. I have a husband. I do this, and people were just saying, just do it. You'll find that you're already doing it.
probably are doing a lot of
You're
this stuff
doing a lot.
already.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so it's not about leaving your groups. It's about doing what you're already doing, but having those duties overlap and building infrastructure for you, for yourself. If you have a group that's specific on one area, this is perfect to get that idea, a bigger audience and a bigger support group to tackle it and to be successful.
That's great. Okay, so because we have 1 hour, we could go on and on.
I know.
So we need to talk about the event
Okay,
and
so-
where it's going to be and
Okay,
all
so
of
the
that stuff.
event is in Gilbert, Arizona at the Gilbert Civic Center from 6 to 9 p.m. It's called Patriotism Over Socialism event, and that's sort of our kickoff. So we've invited these multiple groups. We've invited our churches, our neighbors, our families, everybody together in one place to be inspired, to get education, and to exchange, to network, and to hopefully have a good foundation now going forward of our goals and our strategies of what we want to do. So we have Kelly Ward that's going to be there.
We're going to be there.
Allison,
George
yes,
is.
George.
I'm
they're
going to
gonna
try
have
to
a
make
booth.
it.
I'll
so
sign
s-
autographs.
So speaker
I'll
wise,
let you see mine.
I'm going to get him a scorpion pin. Yeah.
So speaker wise, we have Kelly Ward, Brandon Tatum from Turning Point USA. We have political activist Laura Loomer that's going to be there. Kevin Jackson, obviously he'll be there. We have Congressman Andy Biggs that's going to make an appearance and speak to us. Former Senator Russell Pierce. We have some locals. Terry Mendoza will be there. Marissa Hamilton from Purple of Parents. We have a few sponsors, America Voices and the Republican Liberty Caucus. There are two major sponsors that are sponsoring the event. Lots of people setting up booths. We have patriotic music. We have a band, food trucks. We've gotten a huge
You've got
response. It's gonna
everything
be,
there.
Yes.
Is
it's gonna
it, how much does it cost? Is it free?
It's free. It's a free event. Donations are welcome, obviously, to
You're
help
gonna have some
defray costs.
Big buckets at the door.
Yeah, anything you can give, to help.
Where is
You
it
know,
again? I'm
average-
sorry. It's in Gilbert, right?
Gilbert, Arizona. Yeah, Gilbert Civic Center, 6 to 9. So
Great.
Come
and
out
of
and
course
join
you'll
us.
be there.
I'll be there.
Go find Miranda.
Yes, I'll be just working around and.
And you have a stage and everything.
We have a
so-
stage. I mean, it's not a huge. It's not a huge stage, but yeah, stage. It's bring your own chairs if you want to.
Lawn chairs.
If you lawn chairs if you want to be seated. If you don't want to stand the whole time, it is standing only. So bringing your own chairs. Water if you want. Bring your patriotic gear, your flags, your Trump hats. We want to make buttons. We want to make a big statement in Arizona and all over that we prefer patriotism.
Is Arthur going to be there? Do you know who Arthur is? Those of you in Arizona, and you know who this guy is, he dresses up like Daniel Boone. And
Yeah, I've met him.
Right?
I have met him before at the AZ
Yeah, he's always at
state
events and
meetings.
things.
Yeah.
So he was at our women's club last night, and so is he going to be there? do
I
you
have
know?
no idea. I mean, he could.
He was at a TARS meeting.
I think
at
probably
one of our
will be
clubs.
I think there's a lot
Yeah.
of people that are going to be there because I mean it's been on. There's certain volunteers that have specifically contacted media outlets, conservative media outlets, and regular media outlets. I don't know who's chosen to promote or not promote, but I think it's going to be. We're getting a good response. So
That's
Yeah, because
awesome.
I've been posting it. We've been mentioning it for the last 2 weeks.
yeah,
So it's been on our page. So we had 700 and some odd, up to 800 viewers
Oh, wow.
last week. So
great.
everybody's heard
All
about
locals.
it. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's
yay.
going to be Monday, right?
This Monday,
Tax Day.
Ooh,
No,
scary.
Well, and that's actually the tradition for the past 10 years. I think the Tea Party organization, whichever organization it has been, they've always held their rallies or events on tax day.
Very appropriately.
Yeah.
It is. Well, thank you, Miranda, for the
Yeah.
report on that. Keep
Yes.
us posted, and we want you to come back. Hang around with us now if you can.
Yeah.
You need to go.
Oh, no.
Okay,
I'll
good.
be
And we're gonna move on and talk to Alton, but I do encourage you. George will be there.
Well,
Go see
be,
George.
It's gonna
Go
be
say
wild.
hi to
I'll be
George.
there early. So.
4 o'clock, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because
to set up.
I'm gonna be setting up and I have a lot to set up. Because I have my banners. And
You should try to do some chips and salsa from there too. I
might-
have to
I might,
order some.
Wings.
yeah, I
Chips
might,
and
I
salsa.
might tell
Do you have a good chips and salsa recipe?
Well, we
Maybe
can't-
Alton will go with you and hang out with you. Or you guys got a booth though too. The Tars have
One,
another
one
Tars
of
booth.
your chapters, I guess. I don't know.
I gotta talk to someone about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it's going to
Speaking
be a
of
really
Tars.
great event. So please go out there. If you live in the Phoenix area, this is in Gilbert. But if you live in the Phoenix area, even if you don't, I mean, if you live in Tucson, I think it'd be worth
Oh yeah.
coming out
Oh,
here
yeah.
for the surrounding community.
Yeah. I posted in Pima, some Pima County people, and really tried to push
Because,
it all over.
here's one thing too when you go to these events, and everybody here can vouch for this. What's really cool, you always meet new people.
Mhm.
And we have such an interesting array of people in our party. And you make new friends, and it's really good to be among people who kind of have your same mindset, and
Yeah.
you can share ideas. And I really hope
It is
Arthur
so
does, too.
refreshing to actually meet someone
Isn't it?
who isn't yelling in your face about issues.
And with that, we are going to introduce to you our new friend, Alton Zhang. I'm going to spell his name for you, okay? Because it sounds like Elton John, doesn't it?
Elton John.
And there's a reason for that, he said. But it's Alton, and the last name is Zhang. Are you related to Andy? Andy Zhang? Have you met Andy Zhang?
People keep on asking me that. I do not know an Andy in my family, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Well, he actually, he's in our LD. He travels a lot, so he's been on our show before, and we just can't. I just emailed him today, but we'll connect you guys. But he is the chairman of the TARS, and TARS stands for teenage. I don't want to get this wrong.
It's just Teenage Republicans.
Teenage Republicans. It's easier. What's it? TAR? Teenage?
TARS.
TARS. What's
TARS.
What does it actually stand for?
I.
Oh, this is a test, Alton.
Oh
Uh-oh,
no.
he's flunking.
It's teenage.
It's
Like
Teenage
that's what they have,
Republicans.
TA.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's weird, but I've also seen some people call it Teenage American Republicans. So whatever suits your boat.
Whatever, yeah. So you guys are teenagers and you're Republicans, and that's all we care about,
Yeah.
right? And you said that you're graduating next month?
I am graduating next month. I'm a senior, and in the fall I'll be going down to Tucson. So I'll be
You're
excited for
leaving
that.
us. Oh, that's awesome.
Tucson needs Republicans.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah, really badly, really,
It's a
really
good
badly.
place for you to go. And what will you be majoring in? Have you decided yet?
Oh, I have decided yet, and I'm deciding that I will be an aerospace engineer. I've always had a love for space ever since I was little, and I just think it would be amazing to be one of the first people to step on Mars, to
Very
make a colony on
cool.
the moon, something like that.
Oh, that's very cool. How exciting. Okay, so I do want to talk about the organization, but first I want to ask you why, at such a young age, you already know that you are a Republican.
Why? Well, at first I was actually a Democrat, like many of you guys.
Were you?
Yeah.
She
Well,
wasn't.
I mean, I was uninformed, but I
But you weren't a registered Democrat.
no.
But we were, yeah.
There seems to be some kind of like stereotype that minorities are always Democrats, and I fell prey to that. I was about 7. I can remember this. When I was 7, they sent out these like little surveys, and it said, out of these people, who would you vote? And then this was for the 2008 election. So I was looking at McCain, and I was looking at Obama, and guessing as the uninformed voter, as I was 7 years old, I picked Obama. And the thing is, many Americans would do the same. My mom was the same. And that was before she met the former AZ GOP chairman, Robert Graham,
Oh,
who
really?
changed her mind and made her become a Republican. And then she threw me into the TARS camp called TLC, TARS Leadership Conference. At first, I didn't know what was going on. I was just kind of thrown into DC, so I got lost a lot. Like, a lot. But it was there that I really learned what it meant to be a Republican, what it meant to be conservative. All these years, I had this general feeling that this country wasn't right. Something about it was wrong. The people that I was listening to on TV, something didn't sit right with me. And that was true until I finally discovered what politics was really about, what Republicans were really about. And ever since that fateful trip when I was 13, I've been a Republican ever since.
Wow. That's good. And you are how old now? 17?
I am 17.
17. Well, that's a really good story. That's great. So tell us about your organization. You're the chair. So is this the state organization?
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, TARS has this trip where they bring all the TARS from all over the United States, Florida, California, you name it. because TARS is a national organization run by the very fabulous Barbie Wells. And each state has their own chapter run by their own leaders. And in those states, every chapter has different clubs that are run from schools. So we have a homeschool TARS club called Impact. We have a Pinnacle TARS. We have East Valley TARS, and we have so many more.
Are they actually based in the schools? They allow you to do that?
Yes, surprisingly, I know, but if you find the right schools, they will allow you to make clubs. As long as you have a constitution and you have an advisor, we are able to make you into a TARS chapter.
Oh, very nice.
And we TARS, we do a lot politically. Just this last election season, we helped out on Doug Ducey's campaign, and I know that some of my members helped out Martha McSally. Unfortunately, she didn't win, but it was the effort that mattered. But as you mentioned before, you've seen me at many events like the AZ GOP state meeting.
And we've been trying to get him on here, just back and forth, but we got you now.
And I'm finally here. But that's mainly what we do. We go out and we try to promote the Republican message. Because what TARS really is all about is about making the future leaders, the future Republican leaders that will run America.
Well, and you guys are really important. You know, we love to have young people here. And I hope that this is going to be a regular thing for you. I want you to bring other members also as well. What I want to ask you is, when you're out in the schools and you talk to young people that are not Republicans, and you know they're not Republicans.
You mean like everyone I talk to at school?
You probably have some good sparring and things like that. But what have you said maybe in the past that you've been able to change someone's mind, or the light bulb went off in their head? You know, conversations that you've had, because these guys are really well informed and very sharp. Mm-hmm. So I know you have a lot of knowledge, but it's still a challenge to be out there and talk to someone who doesn't understand what Republicans might be about.
I must say, having Trump as our president has been really good for our political discourse, because now you have everybody from kids to really, really old people that want to talk about politics, and that has helped me edge in the conversation. I've had a lot of conversations about building the wall, illegal immigration, abortion, and surprisingly, as long as I can talk to someone who's open-minded, all it really takes is just destroying some misinformation. A lot of people buy into Democratic policies because no one else has told them otherwise. No one else has given them an opposing viewpoint. Sure, building the wall may seem immoral, but what's immoral more is the thousands of crimes that are committed by illegal immigrants that could have been stopped if they didn't immigrate here legally. We don't talk about the epidemic, the mass genocide of kids that will never get a chance to play and go outside, because we don't believe that we should be having those kind of conversations. And so, with our president in office, there's been a good talk. There's been very many good talks, and I have been able to change a couple of people's minds.
I like that, because you're taking what a lot of people see as a negative, the president said this, and they cringe every time. Now, I like it. I can't see anybody else that could be our president right now that could be getting so much accomplished. And that's really good by you saying that. It makes people want to talk about politics. Yeah. You take that disadvantage and turn it into an advantage.
I look at it and I go, what if Hillary was president right now?
Oh.
I know.
We don't need another nightmare talk today.
You don't need another scorpion.
Yeah, now what are you going to do about tonight, George?
I mean, just think about it. I mean, it would be upside down.
Yeah, Obama 2.0.
Yeah.
And speaking of events with the TARS, sorry, I have to do a little plug here. I have to do a little plug
please.
Here. Every year, us TARS in Arizona, we do something special. We do this thing called the TARS Annual Banquet. And this year's banquet will be hosted on April 27th at the Scottsdale Plaza Resort from 11:30 to 2 o'clock. We're going to have a guest speaker there. He's actually a former TAR. You wouldn't believe it. It's David Schweiker.
Oh, cool.
David Schweiker is a former TAR, and he's going to be our guest speaker at this event.
That's great.
If you're a student, tickets are only $35 for a meal. If you're an adult, unfortunately, you do have to pay $15 more for $50. But if you're so kind, you can sponsor an entire table for you, your LD, your organization, whoever you want to, for only $500. I know it's a lot, but it would mean a lot to us if you could come out and support us.
And where is that going to be?
at the Scottsdale Plaza Resort in Paradise Valley.
Scottsdale Plaza Resort. Great. And then you have a Facebook site, a website. People need any more information, right?
Actually, yeah, we have a Facebook. So if you're on Facebook Live right now, you can go search us up, Arizona Teenage Republicans, AZ TARS. We also have a website. If you search us up in Google, it'll be the first result. And we have a Twitter and Instagram. So we do have a lot of social media.
You're happening. Absolutely. How many members do you have? Do you know? What does it take to be a member? What's your criteria?
I can't tell you off the top of my head. Some of the groups are still giving us back their numbers. But what it takes to be a member is that you have to be a teenager and you have to be Republican. Okay, of course it's a little bit more complicated than that. If you would like to start a club, as long as you have some sort of school, like a homeschool or a high school, a public school, if you can talk with us or with our sponsor, Mrs. Lind, we can send you the Constitution, we can do some talking, we can get some deals done, and we can make a club. So if you're interested, if your children are conservative, then please, we would love to have them.
What's
That's
the
great.
homeschool chapter called that you had?
Impact TARS.
Nice. Like I say, I want you guys to come back any Thursday that you want to. We're here every Thursday, and if you can't make it, somebody else can come. You guys are always welcome. It's kind of open, because we love having young people. You know, we have the College Republicans have been here, and College Republicans United. Anytime we get millennials, our good friend Preston Romero, we call him the Millennial Muchacho. He lives in San Francisco now, and he's going to try to start up a Millennial Minute for it. But what you said about young people, because we're all getting older, unfortunately.
What are you talking about? No.
we do plan to live a long time, though, right, George?
Oh, yeah.
But we have to cultivate our young people, and if we don't, you are the future of our country. It really is. So when I see these guys, when I'm out there at the events and I see you guys, I just love it because you guys are young, and it gives me more hope because
we could use more of that hope.
yeah, we need the hope.
Technically still a millennial.
Absolutely. So I'm so glad, and I hope people contact you. Do you want to give your email out or anything, maybe?
If you'd like to email me personally, my email is altonzhang3, ALTONZHANG 3@gmail.com.
And you have to, because it's such a great story, you have to tell us about why you have that name, because I like it.
Okay, so if you've been wondering all the stream why my name is Alton Zhang, well, let me start off with this. My mom's favorite song is Candle in the Wind by Elton John.
To me.
When she was about to give birth to me in the hospital, she said, I want to name him after Elton John. But she knew that if she named me Elton, that it'd be too difficult for my father to spell for some reason. So she changed the E to an A, and essentially, my whole life is a pun. I'm Alton Zhang, Elton John.
I love that. Well, the first time I saw your name, that's exactly what I thought of, and I thought, well, no, it couldn't be. So I'm so glad that you told me the story. I happen to be, people that know me, has known me in my younger life, closer to your age, know that I was a huge Elton John fan. I still am, but I like his older stuff first, the vintage things. So me and your mom, we're like sisters, okay? Because that's Candle in the Wind's from Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
It's a very good. There's a song on there though that I'm not. It has my name in it. That, I like the song, I like the beat and everything. I don't like the subject, but that's okay. That's really a cool story. Okay, so we know about TARS. We know about the Tea Party. Miranda Meyer, not Myers, no S, Meyer. And
It's going to be a
Elton John.
great event, and I hope the TARS could make it over there, because you have a couple of chapters over there in Tempe or in Gilbert.
Someone from your group's gonna be there.
Someone is going to.
Yeah, I got to talk. I did not know about that.
Yeah.
I wish you could tell me which one it was.
See, that's why you got to watch or come to Chips and Salsa Show, because you never know what you might find
Yeah,
out
but
about.
it's a.
You might
Are you
open up
sure
a
you
bag, you
never-
never know what you'll find inside.
That's right.
But it's the Gilbert Town Center, right? Or
Civic Center, right?
Civic
I think it's on Gilbert, and I think it's in between Ray and Warner. I guess I don't know which side you're coming, but there's like a Civic Center area. There's Across of it, there's a big police station.
Yeah,
Right
it's the
there.
big
Right across.
Gilbert
It's a
Town
grassy area. I think it's kind of round
Yeah.
shaped.
Center. It's a busy area. If
Yeah.
it's a place I'm thinking.
And Gilbert's such a nice town. It's,
It's
you know,
it's
you have
very
an opportunity there.
grassy and greeny over there. It's very pretty.
That's
You'll love
awesome. So, George, I think that do you have any announcements before we start talking a little bit of politics? We only have about 20 minutes left.
Ooh.
Any other announcements?
I don't know what Ron Lutter's radio program is called, but people should try to tune into that as Hub.
Well, they
on-
can't do it if they don't.
Arizona
we don't-
Project?
Huh?
Is it Arizona Project?
Yeah, but the radio program
Okay.
goes under. A
I would
different
go to
name.
his Facebook site, which I think is
Yeah.
Arizona Project.
And he's
He'll be
You could find
emceeing
that.
at the event. I'm sure.
and he'll be talking at the rally and talking more about. He has a project that he's coming up with a radio program, and all social media radio conservative shows should be listened to, and people are starting to speak out, and they're starting to speak out in different forms, and that's what Ron is doing really good in his group, and your group. I'm really amazed at how much attention this has drawn.
Good.
And it just reminds me of the old tea parties, and I hope it's
It's
something
exciting.
good.
Mhm.
I hope it's something good coming in the future, because 2020 is going to be a really, really
Tough.
interesting year, and the end of 2019 is going to be an interesting year.
Oh.
So
And we need all forces working. I mean, this is
Yeah.
like we're
Yeah.
trying
Yeah,
to
we need to all come
coordinate
together
and just be plugging it hard.
work together. As,
Now is no time to
Yeah.
be fighting each other.
exactly.
We should be uniting instead.
Right.
Yeah,
And we
really
can't
do.
count on a party. Like, we can't look to the Democrat Party, Republican Party, even though we align more Republican, it's got to be us, the grassroots structure to really try to change.
And we have a good leader now with Dr. Kelly Ward,
Yeah.
Chairman Dr. Kelly Ward. She's made this house into the people's house,
Mhm.
and they're renovating it even more. Every time I come, there's something else added. By the end of this year, this is going to be a rockin' place for Republicans to meet, for social groups to meet that are conservative and want to come together to help the party. And thank you for giving us your time,
Thank you.
and thank you for giving us your time,
Thank you.
because
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
this is part of the growth in the Republican Party, and we all have to work together. The TARS, the Young Group, the Tea Parties, the Hispanics, who we represent, and all the people that come to this house. This is the people's house, and I'm so grateful for Dr. Kelly Ward to give us the privilege of telecasting our show here in the people's house, and we're going to be doing it every Thursday, and we'll have the Tea Party back, and we'll
I
have
love
the
it.
TARS back, and we're just going to be rocking and rolling in 2019, and we're going to set a stage for 2020. And again, thanks to our chairman, Dr. Kelly Ward. She's doing a great job, and thanks to her director, Lisa
Leslie White.
I'm sorry. I have a pronunciation problem, I guess.
But
He
yeah,
just likes to change people's names. Don't
But,
worry about it.
I
Leslie
know
White is
that-
the executive director.
I know that you guys can't see this, but the renovations are looking really sick. Last time in here, everything looked a bit
Which means
drab,
good.
if I can admit that. But now it's so clean. It's so
It looks
clean.
a
Six-
lot better, doesn't it?
Sick-
does.
It really
Sick
does.
means good, and because my kids taught me that when they said this is sick.
Yeah, I'm so proud that I knew what he meant.
Oh yeah. No, but you've seen it before, the way it looked before. So, and I've seen it for 10 years, and
I've seen it even longer. It's
Yeah,
going to look
our-
the best ever.
our chairman is doing a great job. The committee that she has is doing a great job. Her board is doing a great job. Her committees that she's formed are all doing a great job. This is going to be a great Republican Party, a great state Republican Party, and the county Republican Party is doing really good too. So we're coming together, and
Let's give a shout out to our chairman of the Maricopa Republican Party, which is Ray Chornenke,
yep, they meet
who
here.
is going to come be on our show. I'm working on that. These guys have such busy schedules.
Yep.
They're all invited, but they're doing things all the time. It's amazing.
Sorry about that.
No. just like you, right? So let's do a little bit of politics. We have a few minutes because there's
But-
stuff.
Well, I just want to.
Okay.
That TARS dinner that you guys are having, is it all the TARS coming together, or the organizations, or just one TARS organization?
We'll try to get as many TARS from across the state, so you can expect a couple of TARS group to be there, and it's a lunch
Okay,
because it's 11:30.
okay, that's what I was wondering.
You can have dinner at 11:30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's called
good.
dinner.
That's going to be good. Schweikert is always great.
Oh yeah.
He's always great. So I encourage you to do that. And what a great opportunity. If you have a teenager, go and take your teenager. It'd be
All
so
it
cool.
takes
And
is a
meet
conversation.
people. Yeah,
All it takes is a conversation.
that's right. Lots of stuff. And I went to one a while back. You know who was the speaker? Ben Shapiro was the speaker. And it was a Saturday night. It was a dinner. And he had his yarmulke on. I remember because I went up there and I wanted to take a photo. He goes, I'm sorry, I can't because it's.
Speaking of Ben Shapiro, he had an event here on Tuesday. I actually went there,
That's
and I
right.
got to ask Ben Shapiro a question.
Oh, awesome! Because I wanted to ask you about that if you had gone. What did you ask him?
Okay, so I was the second to last person to go. Like
And this
right.
is the Grand Canyon University, right?
No, this is at the Sherrington.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So this is a different event.
Okay.
I think the GCU one's
That
Later
just
this week.
happened. Okay,
or last week. Anyways, I went up to the stage and after waiting through 13 other people, I get up there and they say, we'll be only taking 2 more people. And in my heart, I just felt blessed. I felt really lucky. So I got up there and I started to ask about something that, has been plaguing my mind a bit recently. You are not allowed to say certain things. You can't misgender someone, you can't post a video of the wrong views on YouTube, and you can't discuss certain things because you don't have the right identity. Sure, government censorship is one thing, but what can we do when a society seeks to censor itself? Cultural censorship. There's not much to do about it. We can't legislate it out. And what Mr. Shapiro told me was that all it takes is just to call it out. To call people out and tell them that, no, I'm not going to let you police my language. Because if we can't give our ideas, then what's the point of having ideas in the first place?
great answer.
That's great.
Great answer. His mind. And that kind of. I wanted to ask you about this. Everything's a good segue. I can't believe it. But I just saw this today, and I'll just read it real quick. Every House Democrat but one, has co-sponsored a bill requiring schools to allow male athletes who identify as transgender girls to compete on female sports teams. Democrats' Equality Act would amend the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to make sexual orientation and gender identity, the quotes are there, I'm just not making them in the air, protected characteristics under federal anti-discrimination law. Among other things, the bill would force public schools to expand female athletic teams to include biological males who identify as transgender girls. Now, I have some thoughts, but I want to hear from Mr. High School for another month.
Oh, well,
Your opinion.
can I just say,
You're not going to be censored here, buddy.
I feel really bad for the girls who have trained nearly their entire lives at a sport that they love, that they're passionate for, to be destroyed by somebody who's a biological male. It's not fair to the girls. And it's not fair to us for having to delude ourselves even further. I mean, I don't think that it's discrimination to allow a transgender person to not play on a team that they're supposedly the gender of. In fact, I think we should be focusing on getting mental help for them, because gender dysphoria is a real problem that has at least a suicide rate in the Americas in America of at least 40%. That doesn't change.
You never hear that. You never hear that statistic.
And the statistic doesn't change after the surgery or the transitioning surgery. So I don't think that whether or not they should be allowed on sports teams of the opposite gender, that's not the main issue here. The main issue is getting help to those with gender dysphoria.
Well, and where are the feminists? I mean, they've fought rah, to get women to make their way in the world, to have something of their own, to compete, to have competition, and, in the name of equality or, not being discriminated against, men are now able to join women's clubs and women's, competition, beat women, and now women have to start at square one. and I mean that's not equality. That's not so it's erasing all of the work that women have tried to do to build something for themselves, and so it puts them back at square one.
See, it's not giving them the equality of opportunity.
Yeah.
You can't choose what gender you're born as, especially for all the girls and women who have been working as athletes their entire lives.
Yeah.
To get trounced by someone who has a different opportunity than them, because I don't want to ignore the biological realities that men just have more testosterone than women, so thus usually they're more muscular, they have more strength and all that stuff. That's just the biological reality.
Science, yeah.
So to deny that for girls, to let transgender players join their teams, that's just destroying the equality of opportunity that we've worked so hard to obtain.
Yeah.
In your school, did you ever have any issues like this to deal with?
No, we haven't.
And they want to make it sound like, oh, it's so common. Everything's out there. Everything's common, but it's very interesting. I saw this and I said, I'm going to take this to the show because I have to ask Alton about it. And there's I couldn't believe all the stuff that I want to ask you about. We don't have a lot of time, but I asked you about the high school political clubs, which is really, really cool because I know that, I'm trying to remember her name, Regina, no, I'm going to get her name wrong, but Miss Rodriguez, College Republicans United, they had a member, and she tried to start a club. I think it was Chandler High School. I shouldn't say, I'm not sure, I shouldn't say what high school it was, but they were told that no, you cannot have this right wing, like a crazy club come in here. She wanted to start a Republican club, so she couldn't do it. So I'm happy to know that there are clubs out there because
That's
gives me
illegal.
hope.
They
It
can't
would seem
stop
so.
you because of your ideology. That is just straight up censorship.
And it's so sad. I mean, you're not against it. If the Democrat kids want to have one, okay, fine. The Republican kids, fine. Or the Libertarians. To me, it would seem like that would be good because they're learning, and you're still in high school, and you're still trying to expand your horizons. So I'm so happy that you said that. There was also a story about. This is at the university level, but since you're going to the university soon and you're going to U of A, I want to ask you about, you heard about the Border Patrol story? The Border Patrol guys were down in Tucson recently, okay? There were a couple of gals that did YouTubes. There were students there. And they were referring to them as the Murder Patrol. And so there was a letter written. It was a big, giant controversy. And we actually had one of my heroes, Art Del Cueto, was at our Legislative District 27 the other night, and he's just fantastic. He does a great job.
Great.
But he was telling us all about this story, and what was very disturbing is there was a letter that was written, and they were kind of going after the poor Border Patrol guys just for being there, and it's like the world is upside down. So I'm sure are you familiar with that story?
I am actually not familiar with that story.
Is that right?
I guess it doesn't get publicized in media, but am I really surprised about that?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it was done on talk radio, and that's the thing. That's why it's good to have, like George says, all different forms of media, social media, or whatever. Because even me, who I'm a news junkie, because I used to work at a radio station as a producer, and I can't get the information fast enough. I am a junkie, but I still will miss stories, and you, I'm sure, are the same way. So, but I wanted to tell you about that story. Obviously, I don't think you thought. First of all, I couldn't believe someone could be so disrespectful to do that.
Yes.
Do you actually know that in Portland, Oregon, they're having a shortage of police officers? And I'm seeing this trend all over the country where we disrespect our boys in blue. Are there some evil cops? Yes. But on the plus side, cops are generally there because they want to. They don't get paid enough. They don't get paid enough to sacrifice and risk their lives. They're there because they want to serve, because they want to protect. And calling our boys in blue Murder Patrol, that's only going to drive them away. And that's what's happening in Portland, actually. They're having a shortage of police officers, and they can't get enough police officers. Sooner or later, it's going to descend into chaos because they don't have enough police force over there.
And this is the Border Patrol is actually, they were asked to be that they were there legitimately on campus doing that. And I was watching the video, and it was blowing my mind. And I'm glad you brought up Oregon because I have a family that moved there recently. And,
I feel bad for them.
she's actually my cousin's daughter, and her husband they're just like we're brand new there, right? And they went to film. He just has kind of his hobby is photography, and he decided to go film a protest just to be there. He's not even political, okay? He's totally independent. And I posted it on my Facebook. You probably saw it. This happened a few months ago, and they were going after him. Like, why are you filming them? Because you're over there, you're automatically with. And he wasn't even with the conservative side. He was just trying to be an objective videographer.
Oh my goodness.
But
I've heard
the
this story so
emotions
many
are
times.
so high on that end, and that's hopefully that's one thing that differentiates us. We can behave ourselves.
Yeah.
Is that what you find out there?
Thankfully, yes, we can behave ourselves.
I have to think that the young people that I've been in come here, they're very well behaved. I think their parents have raised them well, and they just don't go nuts and crazy.
I think it's something having to do with insecurity on the other side. They know deep inside they're wrong, but they've been told all their life that they're Democrats, and they have to believe whatever the mantra is, and they'll argue that Hillary Clinton should be president right now. I mean,
They still argue.
They'll
They're
argue
still
that
mad.
that
still mad.
she
Haven't
should
got
have
over
won, that she would have been a way better president than Trump, and that's not true. And they know it, and deep inside they know it, but I don't think their brain just operates in a different. And I used to be a Democrat. I can't understand how their brain operates anymore because. I was an activist, but I wasn't that kind of an activist. I used my head. I use what God gave me, brain, and I would never have elected Hillary Clinton as president. Now Obama, he had that hope and change, so he made it seem like he was going to be
And he was a great speaker.
the Messiah that everybody was waiting for, and people bought into that. I bought into that. Even though
Not
I was
with
a
Obama.
Republican, even though I was a Republican, I didn't vote for him. But I believed in my back of my head, maybe there is hope and change. Boy, but he pulled the wool
But
over
you didn't believe
everybody's
that
eyes.
Obama could bring the hope and change.
Well, I thought maybe he was coming up with something new that he would.
Before you found out what he was about.
Oh,
Please
when
tell me, George.
I knew that he was a big phony. I saw him on the plane when he was running for president. He had one of those blankets that they worship, the Muslims worship, was sitting right next to his chair in the plane, and nobody said anything about it.
Huh.
Those prayer rugs are there for a reason, and it was right there next to him. It was a prayer rug, a Muslim prayer rug. Nobody said that. Nobody wanted to say Barack Hussein Obama because we were after Saddam Hussein at the time. There's a lot of things that they were like red lights, and I believe his birth certificate was doctored up anyway. But hey,
Yeah, it's a whole other show.
other show.
Okay, we have a few minutes, and I don't want to. I want to remind you guys, if you have not seen the movie Unplanned, please plan to go see Unplanned. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
Okay, you gotta see it.
I've heard so many good things
Yeah,
about
so many
it.
good things.
it's a
Go
good movie.
see it.
It's a good movie.
You talk about learning information and knowledge. And our guests last week from Life Choices Benefit Clinics, and they'll be out there at
Yes,
the tea
it'll
party.
be Monday.
Yeah, so Sheila was with us. And correct me if I'm wrong, George, but I think she told us that in the movie, some of people that she knew had watched that, and they had worked for Planned Parenthood. They said it's accurate. It is accurate. So just don't take the word of one person, Abby Johnson, that the movie's about. Right? Do I have that right?
Yep.
It's really very well done and truthful. So are you going to go see it?
If I have the time.
Well, try to, really,
But
seriously.
I have heard amazing things about it, so I'm pretty excited to watch it.
Good. Because it's a powerful movie, and if you missed it, hopefully we can keep it in theaters a long time. It's really done well, and that's all the programs and stations that wouldn't even carry it. They wouldn't even advertise it. Twitter, right? It went off Twitter. They took it off.
They
Twitter.
shut down the Twitter social media site, and it actually backfired because it got them more followers and more attention because everybody started tweeting about it. Then it was reinstated, and then they just blew up, and I don't know how many followings they have right now.
You
but-
try to ban something, it just makes it look more irresistible.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, of course
So
they say it was an accident, and it was, but of course accidents only happen to conservatives. So.
Right, right. Okay, we got 3 minutes left. I'm going to give you a minute to say what you'd like to close, and then we'll give you a minute. Go ahead, Miranda. What would you like to tell our Chips and Salsa, our chipster audience out there who are guacking on tonight? Thank you very much.
Walking on. Well, just a reminder about the event on Monday. We just want a big turnout, want everybody to come out and show that we're patriotic Americans who love Arizona and love our country, and that we reject socialism. We reject the stuff that they're pushing down our throats. That they say that's okay, and to not be ashamed of it. And like Alton said, meeting people who are of like mind and like spirit, and how we can all work together and build this infrastructure and establish ourselves and really tackle hard-hitting the issues that are going to be good to Arizona and the country. So that's all.
Great. We really appreciate you coming in today, and come back, please.
Well, thank
I
you
hope
for
to
having me.
be there, but George will certainly see you if not.
Yeah.
And now it's your turn, sir.
I just want to say, I want to thank all of you guys for coming out here today. And I especially want to thank Alice and George for hosting the Chips and Salsa show. I mean, there's not enough people out there who speak out the conservative truth.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do have it in your hearts and you do want to support the future of conservatism, please come out to the Teenage Republicans Banquet on April 27th. We would love to have you there, and I especially would love to meet you there. So if you are from the Chips and Salsa show, if you saw us here, please shake my hand and tell me, I saw you on the Chips and Salsa show, and I will call you
This guy.
my fellow chipster. So,
Fellow
come out to that, or salsita, and I'll be happy to meet you. Happy to conserve the future of America.
Great.
Amen.
And we hope that you come back at a future date. Even though you're going to go, I know you're going to head down to Tucson after you graduate, but you'll come back to visit Mom and Dad, right?
I'll be a college Republican then.
There you go.
Mhm.
And then you can come back as a college Republican. Right on. That's great. Well, thank you. George, anything last words to
No,
say?
I just want to thank the Republican Party for letting us host our show here. And I want to invite everybody, like I said before, get involved with the Republican Party. Come volunteer. Come to the People's House and ask what you can do for your Republican Party. I remember a president says, not what the Republican Party can do for you, is what you can do for the Republican Party.
That's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Yeah, but I changed
And
it.
that was good. That was good. Yeah.
And that was a Democrat.
And that was a Democrat. Who
No.
wouldn't be a Democrat today?
Oh, no, he was-
Politics
Right
have
out
shifted
No
way to the
Oh,
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeesh.
I like too what Glenn Beck used to always say in his program. Says, don't believe me, do your own research.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Don't believe
Oh,
me,
yeah.
do your own research.
Mhm.
It's been a really good show.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you.
hope you'll join us again
Appreciate
next
it.
Thursday at 7 p.m. here. Please share this show. Tell more people about it. And
Yep.
if you have an idea for us, just email me, alice@chipssalsashow.com. And we'd love to have you
Yeah,
come
come
our
to the
audience,
tea
too.
party.
Yeah.
Say hi to me at my table.
And if your friends miss out on the stream, remember, it's always archived so you can watch it for later.
Thank
Save
you.
those chips and salsa for, in the fridge when you need it.
There you
Yeah.
go. You can eat chips and salsa while you watch chips and salsa.
That's
Uh-huh.
right.
It's a great idea. Okay,
Nice
thanks so much.
margarita.
Thank
now.
you.
Guac on. Have a great rest of the week.
Enjoy your night.
Bye.
And George's going to turn us off now. There he comes. Ta-da. George, we forgot. We always forget to take a photo, so
Oh,
I
yes,
bet
lots of
that-
photos.
we can do a photo. for
That
us.
would be nice. I would love to have a photo for my Facebook and all that.
Awesome. Got to put my lips on. If I fade out.
That was actually really fun. I've never been on a podcast before.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
right?
it was super fun.
You guys did great.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't it